Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, and there are quite a few of you, my name is April and I go by Ruby Rouge here on the YouTubes. I just recently hit a subscriber milestone of 1,500 and I am just in such disbelief. I'm so appreciative that there are so many of you who would be willing to subscribe and show support for my channel. It is truly awesome, and I really just want you to know that it means a lot. So thank you, thank you. Today I want to do a Pan That palette. This is my Tiny Pans year-long Pan That palette. This is a Pantastic Ladies Collab. Last month I combined the intro for this with my Pan Those eyeshadows, and I had the request to separate them. So I'm going to try it out this way and see if it works better for me this way, or if I would like to combine the two back again, or just go back and forth, I don't know. So if you're curious and you want to watch that other video, it's going to be in a separate video this time. Alright, so let's talk progress. Of course, I properly forgot to photograph the palette at the introduction. I can't believe I did that, because that's like the most important part, kind of. So yeah, I'm going to have to use a screenshot, which isn't nearly as awesome, and it's just gonna have to be what it is. But yeah, you can't really see anything. I'm gonna try to go back and see if maybe I do have a picture of it somewhere else, but for this update I'm probably just gonna have to use the screenshot. I know you probably can't really see anything, but I did make quite a bit of progress on shade number 1 and shade number 7 as well. I feel like I deepened both pretty significantly, and I think you can kind of see that in this photo. About halfway through the month though, I realized I was really neglecting this project in favor of some of the newer to me projects like the 10 uses and Pan Those eyeshadows. I've really done Pan That palette every year for I think 6 years, I'm guessing. And you know, this palette is a tried and true favorite for me, that I've used it so much. Like, I'm super excited to finally just pan it, but I'm not as excited to play with it because I've already played with it a lot. So I'm kind of at that kind of midpoint with the palette. Like, I love it and I want to use it, but you know, I've already kind of discovered its mysteries for the most part. I'm still learning, but you know, if you know what I'm saying there. So mid-month, I did switch my focus over to this palette and I was able to really make some progress this month. I actually did find a new love and appreciation for shade number 7, and I didn't know that I don't know that I'd ever really used it as like the main shadow of a look, and I found that I actually really like it that way. I also decided to do tally marks this month because I had neglected the palette. I thought, well, okay, let's at least do tally marks so we get at least 20 uses on it, and I did. I did manage to get to 20, I think it was like yesterday. I am wearing this palette today, but those are on the next month's use. But I did get 20 uses on this palette combined. I had shade number 1 had 2, shade 2 had 1, 3 had 2, 4 had 3, 5 had 3, 6 had 1, 7 had 4, 8 had 1, 9 had 3. So not anything super, no big uses. I don't know how long I'll actually continue to do the tally marks. Sometimes it's a lot of work, sometimes it's a lot of fun. It just depends on what kind of mood I'm in. But I thought it would be good to get me started and get an idea of how much I will have to use the palette to get to the bottom. How many licks to the center of a Tootsie Pop? You guys remember that commercial? Saturday morning cartoons at its finest. I really need to do an aside here and say that a group of engineering students from Purdue University reported that its licking machine, modeled after a human tongue, took an average of 364 licks to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. 20 of the group's volunteers assumed the licking challenge unassisted by machinery and averaged 252 licks to the center. That was from Tootsie.com, based on a 2015 experiment from Purdue University. I can't believe it took I think that commercial was from the 70s. So from the 70s all the way to 2015 for somebody to actually sit down and count how many licks? No way. I guess that's the official. Alright, so let's get back to the palette. One of the realizations that I had on this palette this month is that these darker shades aren't really as dark as I thought they were. they're actually, every shade in this palette is much more like in a comfortable, wearable range for me than I kind of assumed or thought or remembered. I think what I'm trying to say is like, I just kind of saw these when I was heading into the project this month. I was like, oh yeah, these are going to be my deepening shades. They're going to be a little bit more challenging. And then I got into them and I'm like, oh yeah, these are fine. I can wear these just like as regular standalone shadows. They could actually stand to be deepened up a bit. So that's kind of good for me. That gives me some more optimism for being able to complete this palette. Also, the shadow I have on today is like the red in the corner, shade number 9. It's not nearly as outrageous as I thought it would be. I can actually, I actually like was really building it up to try to give it some more oomph today. So it can actually be toned down pretty easily. So this is an incredibly wearable palette. I tend to forget that when I look at it at first glance. I'm like, oh, but no, it's incredibly wearable. Goals for the next month. I liked the tally marks this month. I enjoyed doing them, so I think that I will do that again. I also think that I want to go ahead and get a pan on this palette just to start the year off right, and I think I'm going to go for a pan in number 7. I think that's probably the coolest tone, the most likely for me to want to use in the winter. So I'm going to go ahead and get a pan on that. And lastly, I do want to try to get a little bit more use on this red shade, number 9, because I feel like it's the most intimidating for me. I do. I still, even though I know it's wearable, I still get more intimidation from it. But, you know, I'm using it today. I think it's fine. I think I'll still be able to use it. So I have a bunch of eye looks using this palette. I think I'm debating whether to add in eye looks that I've done previously with this palette from last year's challenges that I did, or just for this month. But I'm going to add in eye looks, and some of the looks are using multiple palettes, but I still think they, you know, they fit right in this video. I don't really have much more to say, so I'm just going to kind of let the looks play and maybe some music, or I don't know, maybe some atmosphere. Maybe I'll sing you guys to sleep. But yeah, I'm just going to let the looks play, probably with some music, and enjoy. Thank you all so much for stopping by. Let me know if you are doing tiny pans. I always try to stop by and show love to those who show me love in the comment section. And I will see you guys again soon. Bye.